Hello and welcome to TCS Student News. I'm your host, Sean LaRicci, here with my co-host,
Aidan McIntosh
and Garrett Anderson.
Let's get right into the news. In our first story, we are going to Niger, as more updates on the ambush have been sent out by the Pentagon. On Monday, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Joseph Dunford addressed some reports stating that the U.S. officials were not given enough information involving the battles in Niger. There are 800 U.S. troops currently operating in Niger, and about 4,000 French troops helping. Earlier this month, the fighting left 4 brave soldiers dead and 2 wounded. This is horrible. Dunford said that a 12-man Special Forces detachment and 30 Nigerian partner forces began their mission to recon enemy forces on October the 3rd. The Allies didn't expect any interference, so they did not worry about getting attacked. But when the Allies were returning to base, they got attacked by 50 ISIS soldiers. The ISIS soldiers used weapons such as RPGs, small firearms, and APCs. The battle was going on for a while, but the Allies had help with French air support and were picked up after the battle. On October the 6th, the body of one of the soldiers, Sergeant LaDavid Johnson, was recovered 1 mile away from the scene of the ambush by Allied Nigerian forces. We will not forget the people who risked their lives protecting us and our allies.
Keep us updated, Sean.
In Baltimore, fewer students are being kicked out of school. School suspensions in Baltimore have dropped in the past year. The improving number comes as the district has reformed its disciplinary practices. There were about 6,800 suspensions and expulsions last year. This is down from nearly 8,500 the year before. The data shows students were suspended for fighting, being disruptive, and making threats to attack students and teachers. City School CEO Sonia Santelise put a focus on social and emotional learning and rehabilitative responses to misbehavior.
The stories are very sad, guys. Now let's go to the even more devastating sight of Puerto Rico.
Remind us what happened in Puerto Rico.
Well, on September 20th, Sean, Hurricane Maria made landfall in Puerto Rico with 155-mile-per-hour winds. The hurricane caused mass destruction and power outages and lots of floodings, devastating nearly everything on the island, and to make things worse, they had little help to repair and fix all the things that were destroyed. They are just now starting to get schools going in some parts of the island that were not hit as badly, like San Juan and Mayagüez.
Nobody should have to go through things like that.
It's just very sad. Puerto Rico, our prayers are with you.
In our next story, we're going to Syria, where Russia vetoed the U.S. efforts to expand the United Nations Syrian chemical weapons investigation. This veto prevents inspectors from investigating the chemical weapons attacks in Syria unless there is an agreement to extend them before mid-November. The resolution would have passed if Russia didn't veto, as there were 11 votes gathered. The veto happened days before there was supposed to be a report on who was responsible for most of the attacks, which killed nearly 100 citizens. The Joint Investigative Mechanism Program, or JIM, reported that at least 3 of the attacks involving chlorine gas were from the Syrian government, and ISIS stated at least 1 attack with mustard gas. The chemical that was supposedly used in the Khan Shaykhun area was called sarin.
Donald Trump recently sent a check for $25,000 to a family who lost a son in Afghanistan. The son and 2 other troops was killed in Afghanistan by an Afghan police officer. Trump told the family on the phone, oh my God.
I'm going to write you a check out of my personal account for $25,000. Trump also said no other president has done something like this, but I'm going to. The call took place 4 months ago, and the check received earlier this week. At the time, the White House spokeswoman Lindsay Walters criticized the Post for asking about the payment. She went on to say it was disgusting that the media is taking something that should be recognized as a generous and sincere gesture and turning it bad. I am altogether glad that Trump is helping the family of the soldier, but on Monday, the U.S. announced they were withdrawing troops from the Myanmar unit, officers involved in stopping Rohingya violence. Recently, the minority Muslim ethnic group in Myanmar, the Rohingyas, have been oppressed, violently beaten, killed, and kicked out of surrounding countries. Last week, the Secretary of State said that they hold Myanmar's military leader accountable for the Rohingya violence. The U.S. has also rescinded invitations to the senior members of Myanmar security forces to U.S.-sponsored events.
Now let's get into TCS News. First of all, we'd like to thank everyone who provided lunch this week. We individually thank Ms. Peg, Claude's family, Jordan's family, and Anna Bartoli. All the lunches were delicious, and we cannot thank you enough for what you do.
This past Wednesday, we celebrated a birthday here at school.
It was a Hopkins work study, Anna Bartoli. She turned 21. All of us here at TCS would like to thank you for all the work you do here and wish you a happy birthday. So this past Friday, we had a speaker come in for a conversation with. His name was Anthony William. He talked about all the things he had to overcome in his life, and altogether was really inspiring. He talked about that if you know something needs to be done, just do it. Don't wait, just do it. We enjoyed his presence and the positive vibes that he sent out so much that he actually stayed for an extra 45 minutes. We can't wait for him to come back and speak with us again. Thank you, Anthony William. Okay, everybody. That was our week at TCS School. I'm Aidan.
I'm Garrett.
I'm Sean.
See you all next week on TCS News.